in my experience, I was, young. I was maybe 24. It was, very early in my career. It was part of my job responsibility. I worked for live events, and we would put inside each program, it would be the lineup. So you understood the card when you were at that event, who was coming in the ring first, what the main event was. And I worked with Howard Finkel. He was one of my persons there. And before they would approve the card to go to print, I would have to get Freddie Blassie to, read through it and approve it. So I had weekly meetings set up, and I would go over to his office, and, he would say, close the door. It was a closed door meeting, about a half an hour. And I just remember, the first time I'd gone there, and he's a formidable man. He's a large man. He was, a legend. I knew who he was when I was going there. And he said, close the door. And there was a couch in his office, a dirty couch. And he started making like little small talk. But he was like, if I can get you on that couch, what I'll do to you. And I'm like, ha ha ha, but there was in his office, from floor to ceiling, there was framed photographs, and there was a lot of pictures of him with celebrities from, say, his celebrity golf, tournaments. There was pictures with him with, the cast of the Dick Van Dyke Show, which I don't know if some of you guys wouldn't even know what that is. But so fortunately, I'm like an old Hollywood buff. So I was like, I recognized a lot of these people. So I was like, oh, Freddie, tell me about these people, how you know them. So that diverted his attention. And then it was like, finally, it was like, okay, what are we doing here? And he's like, I got a Playboy magazine. He pulled it out of his desk drawer, and he's like, you want to hear the jokes? So he read me the Playboy jokes. And then, some weeks later, I would take the magazine. I would read to him. We would just read the jokes to each other. And I got a kick out of it. And then basically he would look at the card and say, yeah, that's fine. And it's like, okay, approved. So basically I had a meeting with him once a week to just read dirty jokes. And then now when you sort of look back, it's like, it is kind of yucky. And it again, it was the 90s. I would never, no one would do that now. No one would have asked a young girl to do that now. And so again, I said, no harm, no foul. It's just, it is what it is, but here, Freddie, he was a dirty old man, and and that was just, who he was. It was over years of being who he thought he was in the ring. That's what he was in his mind, I guess. So he did actually get in trouble at the office. He did do something. I can't comment because I don't know the details, but he did something that obviously was serious enough for there to be, somebody who supposedly got a payoff, and she left the company and she moved out of state, and, more power to her. But they asked Freddie to not come into the office. He didn't have an office job anymore. And he was basically, taken off the books, and it made it look like he was gone. But he wasn't, because he used to come and hang out in the mailroom. I mean, the guys in the mailroom were all around his age, and they would shoot the shit. And then someone would come up and say, hey, Freddie's downstairs in the mailroom. You want to come and say hi? And of course I did. I mean, I had nothing against him. And I was like, I would go down and I'd show him my respect. So over the years, Freddie, he did stay with the company. We, trot him out as Santa Claus. They would put Baird on him and put him in our cafeteria, and we'd have our company Christmas parties, and all the kids would get to sit on his lap, and some of the employees would sit on his lap, and I was no better, but it was, again, we all kind of knew Freddie was Freddie. And again, it's like, it's having a dirty uncle. It's like, it's like, just don't get too close. And it's unfortunate because, again, I look back now and I think it's really disgusting. But at the time, I'm sure, who knows if I was the only one that was going to his office. No one said anything. No one made a big deal about it. It was like, just, whatever. It's a funny story you can tell 30 years later, and here I am, so, yeah. But ew. Yeah.